Next, we move on to a panel discussion. Today, environmental, social, and governance is not just about ticking the regulations. It's about reimagining the world we build, power, and lead. Now, picture cities lit by green hydrogen, ships that sail on ammonia and innovation, and finance that just don't just not just profits but purpose. From startups to boardrooms, ESG is shifting from obligation to advantage. And in this heart of all this transformation, there are visionaries who are just who dare to ask, what if sustainability weren't a burden and but our biggest advantage? Join us for the panel discussion ESG's value from compliance to competitive advantage. The session is being moderated by Srimati Nisha Meneses. She is the Director of Intelligent Sustainability Transformation at PwC India. Nisha leads the charge for ESG strategy and transformation across South India, bringing over 18 years of experience from the financial corridors of the Standard Chartered, Citibank, Julius Baer, and the dynamic tech world. From decarbonization roadmaps to renewable energy transitions, circular supply chains to governance framework that echo best practices. Srimati Nisha's work is a masterful class in purposeful impact. She is here today not just as a leader but as a catalyst, the panel moderator. Let's give a big round of applause to her. And let me now introduce the esteemed panel members. Sri Jatish Chandra, General Manager, Basic Design, Cochin Shipyard. He is a seasoned naval architect with nearly 30 years of experience in ship design and shipbuilding across India and abroad. A proud alumnus of the Department of Ship Technology at Cochin University of Science and Technology, his career has charted courses through prestigious institutions like Naval Ship Design and Research Center, Hyundai and Samsung Heavy Industries in South Korea, and Malaysia International Shipping Corporation. He has not only built ships, but he has shaped standards, serving in key committees like the IRS Technical Committee, Inland Vessel Rule Development, and the Bureau of Indian Standards. He has represented India at the International Maritime Organization Maritime Safety Committee. Today, he anchors the design vision at Cochin Shipyard, and we are honored to have him abroad. Please welcome Mr. Sri Jatish Chandra. The next panelist is a mechanical engineering graduate with a postgraduate degree in energy conservation and a PhD in energy management, Dr. R. Harikumar. He leads the Kerala State Designated Agency EMC under the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, Government of India. Under his leadership, EMC has been at the forefront of implementing key initiatives like the Energy Conservation Building Code, the Performance Active Trade Scheme for Industries, Municipal and Agricultural DSM programs, and Standards and Labeling Scheme. Dr. Harikumar also spearheaded the launch of Kerala's Smart Energy Program to instill energy-saving habits in the mind of the young ones, and played a pivotal role in establishing the Hydrogen Hub in Kerala. He was instrumental in bringing the Energy Observer, the world's first hydrogen-powered vessel running solely on renewable energy, to Kochi. Thanks for his vision and efforts, EMC has received national recognition and consistently ranked among the top performers in the State Energy Index published by the Niti Aayog. Let's welcome Sri Harikumar R. The next panelist is a person who turned sunlight into strategy. Srimati Mini Joseph, Chief Financial Officer of CIAL Infrastructure Limited, brings over 26 years of financial expertise to the renewable energy wing of Cochin International Airport. A seasoned chartered accountant, she began her career in multinational manufacturing firms before switching into the service sector in 2015, where she found her calling in powering change. Under her stewardship, Shial Infrastructure has commissioned 50 MWP of solar capacity, helping Cochin International Airport earn global acclaim as the world's first airport fully powered by solar energy. Let's welcome Srimati Mini Joseph. Sri Padmanabhan TM is a Deputy Vice President and Head of ESG at Federal Bank. He brings over 15 years of banking expertise with a strong foundation in risk management. From the credit risk and ALM to Basel regulations, ICAAP and IND IS, his portfolio reads like a blueprint for financial resilience. Since 2021, he has been at the helm of Federal Bank's ESG journey, building every policy and framework that now guides bank sustainable transformation. With certifications from GARP as a financial risk manager and in sustainability and climate risk, Sri Padmanabhan bridges the technical and the transformational. Let's welcome the leader who's helping redefine banking, not just as a business, but as a force for sustainable impact.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. And welcome to our panel today. This is about going beyond compliance and really looking at ESG as a value driver for organizations, governments, and society at large. And welcome, members of the panel. So thank you so much for your time today. I think primarily, just to give a brief background about India before we get into, asking questions. A lot of companies started to, around 3.5 years ago when SEBI came up with its mandate around BRSR. A lot of companies realized that they had to report more than 150 data points. And so, some companies looked at, where do we start? How do we put that together? And how do we ensure that that is auditable, because it was going in the public domain and it had varied principles, 9 principles across which companies started to report. And as we track that, we also know now that a lot of companies have to now move beyond their own reporting to start looking at their supply chain as well. So a lot of their information is, going to be disclosed in the public domain. But what was interesting when a lot of leaders started this journey, they said, we have some information, some would need to be derived, but can we step back and rather than just responding to this, could we look at it differently and really set our strategy and really derive benefit, out of it? So here we are. Some companies have been way ahead of the curve. They've been doing sustainability way beyond, before BRSR took hold in India. And some companies, for example, have started their journey, when SEBI came up with the mandate around, the BRSR. But we also see private companies stepping up and saying, we are suppliers to some of the larger companies in India, to the world. So, why don't we use this for competitive advantage as well? So let's hear from the practitioners as to how they're really, taking that on. So here's a question for you, Jatesh. So shipbuilding is, a hard to abate, or basically like hard to decarbonize sector. And but you have been, Cochin Shipyard has actually been working on different kind of fuels to power your fleet, right? Could you explain why there is this transition to low carbon fuels, and Is it because it is being mandated by different countries? That's why? Or is there some other driver behind this?
Thank you, Nisha. First of all, I thank CETAA for giving this opportunity to speak in this panel. And these kind of seminars are very much important at this stage. We have heard from uh, Shankar sir about the importance of sustainability. Now, coming back to the question, as we speak, we know there is a lot of uh, changes happening, and the requirements is too much, and the world is confused, and the industry is confused which way to go ahead, what is the fuel we have to take. There is no single solution actually we have in front. And the shipping is changing, shipbuilding is changing, and ship design is changing, ship construction is changing because of this change of alternate fuels. And if you look at it, the fuels which we are looking at, we have number of projects which we are doing right now. We have methanol, we have hydrogen, we have batteries, then solar, wind. All these are being tried out in ships, and this has really changed all the design parameters and technology, and also in the construction phases, also construction methods also it has affected. So if you look at methanol, actually methanol is actually the calorific value is much lesser compared to diesel. So you need more space for carrying the fuel. Batteries, we have seen there is change of type of batteries. It is going on. So this battery actually, if you see the cars we are using, even though we have electric cars here, but we have a mix of diesel cars, petrol cars, LNG, all these are there. Similar way, for some purposes we can use battery driven vessels. You can see, you have seen Kochi water metro here, that's for that purpose. So, and if you see solar panels need more space, the ship design has to be changed. So the shapes of the ship itself is changed because of all these fuels coming, and maybe the alternate methods we are trying out, the design has changed. Earlier we have seen ships which is with a conventional fuel engines and tanks, fuel tanks, diesel driven ones. Maybe before that it was steam driven ones. Now we may not have a funnel at all. The vessels are coming up without funnels, battery driven. You don't need funnels, so there is no burning of fossil fuels. And if you are looking at hydrogen fuels need to store. If you are in a liquid stage, you have to store at very cryogenic stage, minus 250 degrees Celsius. You need to have hydrogen carriers. So overall, what I mean to say is, it is not only a requirement of regulations, but looking at maintaining the sustainability, we are looking at all these options. This has really impacted the ship design, ship construction, and the shipping itself. So that's how I look at it. We'll hear from others also. That tremendously
absolutely,
it has
absolutely.
impacted us.
But if I were to just summarize, just ask one question, what is there a compliance for what fuel, in the sustain, in the sustainable, say, shipping fuel thing? Is there any direction in which there is a regulation on which fuel it should be? Because, for example, for automakers, it's moving to EV for sure. So is there a similar thing from a compliance perspective?
Yeah, that is what I was telling. Actually, in shipping, we don't have a single
Standard.
solution now, but it is going to be, the development is going in such a way that, as I said earlier, maybe if you look at it, we had only diesel stations. Then it came petrol stations.
Okay.
Then we have started getting CNGs, LNGs, now EV stations. So the infrastructure required for all of this is different.
It's developing as well.
It is developing. So if you look at it, some type of ships like battery vessels, you cannot carry that much of battery on board for a seagoing vessel. So so we are looking all these options. Maybe for some of it, you may have a corridor where methanol is suitable. maybe another corridor. You cannot build up all this infrastructure all around the world.
And you're
Yeah.
behind that R&D and
Yes,
product
yes,
development,
that's going on.
right?
That's
Right.
going on. Yeah, right.
All right. So here's a question for you, Mini Ma'am. So I remember when I was landing in Kochi the first time I saw this. The airport is powered by solar panels, and it was Instagrammable. It was wonderful, right? As in to see the development that was going on. So can you explain a bit around what were the drivers around this? And I think it's just so nice, and I think it's a proud moment being an Indian to land and to see your airports, being powered. So, what is the driver behind that? And could you share some insights as to what led to this transition?
Thank you, Nisha, and kudos to CETAA for organizing such a wonderful seminar on sustainability. CEAL forayed into solar energy generation 12 years back in 2013 by setting up a 100 kilowatt pilot plant on top of the arrival block of the international building. So that time these regulatory compliances, all these requirements were not there. Before that, this plant was set up. So at that time, we had a vision to become energy independent, to be self-sustained in our energy requirements. So that vision led into the solar revolution. So what triggered the solar revolution way back 12 years back is that in 2012, the state discom increased the power tariff of airports to rupees 7 per unit from rupees 4 per unit. And that time our daily consumption was 48,000 units. So that meant that our annual electricity bill will jump from 7 crores to 12 crores. Then we thought about venturing into solar energy generation for self-consumption. So our vision was to become energy independent, and that started the solar revolution.
And what are your costs like now?
Actually, we have because we lie in the high tariff category. This has been very, very cost efficient for us. It depends upon your tariff. And energy for electricity, the tariff is different for different types of consumers.
Right.
And for airports, since we lie in the high tariff category, it is cost effective also.
And one follow-up question would be, when did you start seeing the return on investment? As in when did you start really reaping that in?
For us, it was 6 to 7 years because we didn't have any investment in land.
Right.
Because we had freehold land available with us. So the cost of land was not there. So the return of investment started flowing in from the 6th year onwards.
Understood. So here's one for you. Thank you so much, ma'am. And so Padmanabhan, this is one for you. So today, I think banks are really the backbone of growth in that sense. And but you all are under a lot of scrutiny based on your lending and lending practices, and also there's a high risk as well there, right? Risk exposure as well. So I understand that Federal Bank has taken a position to shift away from coal. Could you enlighten us? Isn't that's quite an interesting? Sorry to start with that, but yes, it's quite a stand that Federal Bank has taken. Yeah.
Thank you, Nisha, and I thank CETAA for having this wonderful topic for the conclave and for having invited me. Before I answer you, I think when Joseph sir initially called me and asked if I could be part of this, the first dialogue that I told him was the famous dialogue from the Malayalam movie. I'm from a commerce background. I'm a banker. What am I to do on a conclave organized by engineers? ഞാൻ പോളിടെക്നിക് ഒന്നല്ല, എനിക്ക് യന്ത്രങ്ങളുടെ പ്രവർത്തനം ഒന്നും അറിയില്ല. So what am I supposed to talk here? And he said, no, you are the banker. So irrespective of the sector, you are on the other side, sometimes on the receiving side. Most often we are on the demanding side. So please tell us what it means for a banker to be sustainable. And I hope I live up to your expectations, sir. The question that you asked, yes, Federal Bank is the first bank in India who have made a public commitment that we will move away from coal lending. We said we will not sanction any fresh exposure to coal plants and thermal plants. and we will run off our existing exposure by 2030. Again, it's a phased commitment because we have existing exposures to some of the large countries, some of the large companies. From a business perspective, it doesn't make much of a sense because you have the best names in the country who are otherwise credit worthy, and there is no regulation for any banks to say that they should not be lending to coal. So there is no regulation from RBI. From a business perspective, yes, there are business opportunities, but when the board debated on how we should start our ESG journey or how should we make the presence felt, we said for the banks, our bread and butter is deposits and loans. So we should make bold statements on our core business. And then the board decided, yes, though it means saying no to some profitable business in short term, we believe that in long term, that is a right thing for the world. And that is a right thing because any business organization is a going concern concept. So we do not take decisions keeping in mind only the short term. Yes, in short term it may be a business loss, but in long term it is profitable or it is sustainable. So we made that commitment in 2021 that we will phase out our coal exposures by 2030, and we are on the track. And right now there is one more bank in the country which has given a similar statement.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for that. And thank you for taking the stand on it. It actually aligns to what a lot of customers, clients, all their commitments around net zero and how this is also going to be powered. I think this is really required. And Hari sir, a quick question for you. So your organization has been at the heart of, energy efficiency, in Kerala. And how do you see, ESG moving from compliance to really unlocking value, innovation, and driving the country forward towards its net zero goals?
This energy efficiency and renewable energy, definitely they have a role to play in improving the bottom line of an enterprise. But during my last 35 years of studying this, studies doing in this field of energy efficiency and renewable, we find that many enterprises behave in different pattern. If particularly, let us say for example this hotel, if they can pass on the rising energy cost to their client, definitely that is the easiest route. But if their competitors, some progressive minded enterprises do investments in energy efficiency and renewable and reduce the energy costs, that is then they also try to fall in that line. And recently, because of the regulations, these export oriented units, people exporting to European Union and things like that, they also invest a lot in energy efficiency and renewable energy to green their portfolios.
From a CBAM perspective.
From a CBAM perspective, also it is there. But we should. But the recent trend, what we see from the energy efficiency field, particularly in the context of the cost of renewable energy coming down. For example, this particular, again coming to the example of this hotel, if they want to reduce their energy cost, they can, if they want to green their energy chain, they can go for an investment in the solar rooftop system, which is the prices are comparatively coming down very fast. But instead of having a headache of improving their energy efficiency in their unit operations, because it is just like fixing some engine when the plane is running like that. The hotel is running and they have to go for a revamping of their chillers and all. So they invest in renewables. So what we find is that when you invest in renewable, the energy you get is powering the energy inefficient operation inside. So that is a real concern what we have in seeing the many aspects from many enterprises. That is also, I should caution.
What about technology is, and so we see a lot of technology innovation that's coming up, to really track energy consumption and really drive those efficiencies as well. So, how have companies adopted that? You think they're adopting that fast enough? Is it quite slow? They need to do more?
when the payback period is less than 3-4 years and all, companies adopt the technology innovations very fast. But again, I have to caution that when technology innovations, for example, lighting, we have seen the fluorescent lamp. Edison invented incandescent lamp changing into fluorescent lamp. We all went to the fluorescent lamp. Then came the compact fluorescent, and we went to compact fluorescent. Then we found that okay, compact fluorescent lamp has mercury pollution.
Correct.
Then we are using all LED.
Correct.
Now after maybe 10 years, ophthalmologists will say that because your eye problem because of the LED. So all these technology interventions come with a package of problems also
Yeah.
for the technologists themselves to solve the later.
Absolutely.
Because in many industries, I will just give one example, the VFD, variable frequency drive, many people use for controlling the speed of the motor. And VFD come with its inherent pollution of harmonics. And now harmonic filters are coming. So you treat for your toothache and you get a stomachache.
Some other problem, yeah. So, question for you, Jatesh, as in moving on so you all have set up, so the International Maritime Organization has set a target of reducing carbon emissions by 40%, by 2030, and net zero by 2050, right? And so obviously there is this demand, in low carbon fuel powered ships per se. So how is Cochin Shipyard really positioning yourself to capture this? I understand that there's a lot of, you mentioned that, there's people are confused, but, how are we supporting
Industry is
that? And
confused,
and so,
you're right. I said the industry is confused because there is no single solution which way to go ahead. So people are ordering different types of ships. So with your permission, I have prepared few slides just to show the products which we are doing now. These are some of the projects which we are doing for the international clients, which are all different from what we were doing before. Maybe you can go to the, I'll not go. Next slide. That is to 2050 is this is a target of IMO. If you go as usual, the business as usual, the blue line, that is the emissions will go like that. But there was a strategy in 2018, the red line, that was a strategy. Then IMO has revised it in 2023, and that is now net zero is by 2050. So this because of these targets, and as you said, 40% is by 2030. That is what we are aiming at. We can go to the next slide. Maybe to the next slide. These are all over the world. Some of the projects happening. I'll go to the Cochin Shipyard projects. Can you go to the? Can I control here? I would like to touch upon some of the initiatives which Indian government also taking up. This is National Green Hydrogen Mission, which is basically to look at the various initiatives or maybe the projects which we need to do in hydrogen, using hydrogen. And the Indian government has set up a National Center of Excellence for, I'm talking basically on the shipping and shipbuilding side. Pardon me for that, because I was involved in all these initiatives, some of that. And Green Tug Transition Program is a program which government has initiated in the ports to slowly transfer the diesel tugs to the green tugs. It is difficult to change diesel tug which has to do firefighting and pulling operations and pushing operations to a battery driven tug initially, but what we are trying now is to have only for the harbor operation we are looking at green tugs. So slowly, so that the confidence will come up, and that with that we can move to the next level of operations. And there is another initiative called Harit Nauka, which are for the greening of inland vessels. Coming to the projects, which just wanted to show you how the new and what all new vessels look like. This is a project which we have done, hydrogen powered fuel cell boat, which this is similar to Kochi Water Metro. In Kochi Water Metro, there is battery and diesel engines. In case of emergency, you can use diesel generators, but this is a 100% zero emission vessel, which we have done in collaboration with. It's a fully indigenized product, and the fuel cells are produced by a company called KPIT. They had generated fuel cells. They have made fuel cells for automobiles that we marinized with them, and that is used in this vessel, which and also certified for marine operation by Indian Register of Shipping. So this has got 2 by 20 kilowatt of fuel cells. The propulsion is 2 by 20 kilowatt and 48 kilowatt of fuel cell, and also batteries for LFP batteries. Yeah, that's fuel cell. This was dedicated to the nation in 2024. And for testing this and giving, and initially we were not confident to put this hydrogen filling station in the in our premises, but we have set up an hydrogen filling station also to do the trials and testing of this vessel. That with that we did the commissioning of this vessel, and now it is taken to Varanasi and it is operating in Varanasi.
Would you say these are the most popularly used sizes in 50 passengers in India, or that ply the?
No, it is this is no 50, these are all inland operations only.
Right, right.
But when you say battery driven or solar driven vessel,
Right.
you cannot go to sea going vessel. So
Understood.
as a pilot project, we selected this vessel. That's
Understood.
all. And this is another project which we are doing right now for Norwegian client. This is a container vessel which is driven by hydrogen fuel cells. It's a much bigger capacity. This has got around 385 kilowatt hour battery and 1.6 kilowatt fuel cells. So the other one was only 48 kilowatt, so it's around 1.6 megawatt of fuel cell. And methanol driven vessels, we have one project going on, that is this is again, this project is coming up. This is specifically operating for the wind farm operation. So you can see the central tower, that's a lift which will take the technicians to the wind turbines, in the offshore wind turbines. So this is also a different thing which has come up. You may not be seeing this type of vessels in the old offshore platforms, supply vessels. So this is a new vessel, commissioning service operation vessels. This is a methanol ready vessel. This has got also a battery, 2.7 megawatt hour battery. So that's for a Cyprus client. This is another project which we are doing it for an UK North Star client. That is a commissioning support vessel. This is again, you can see the lift in the middle, which can take the technicians to the wind turbines. This is around 744 kilowatt hour batteries. This is again a commissioning support vessel. That's also for North Star, different one. Of course, Kochi Water Metro, that is a battery driven vessel. You have seen this vessel here. This is a project which we have done for Norway. This is a fully battery driven vessel, and this is ordered by a grocery supplier in Norway. Basically, they supply groceries to the Norwegian malls. Yeah. So there, I have a small video how they have for their ESG drive. What they have done is they wanted to take out the carbon emissions. They want to take out the trucks from the road. So this is how it is operated. They use it. Let me see. Yeah. The audio is not there. So this is operating in Oslo Fjords. ASCO is the company.
With frequent disruptions, ASCO
Take
is now
this
establishing
going
an innovative
from
emission-free
start to
transport
finish.
system.
The project?
Yeah. Trailers will be transported
From
by
R&D
electric
to,
trucks
you
and
know,
cross
No,
the
yeah,
board on
just maybe
battery-driven
can you increase the
autonomous
volume? I
vessels.
think it's not. Is it possible to increase
And
the
pick
volume?
up trailers from port. Terminal tractors equipped with Red Rock's autonomy solution pull the trailers on board.
So these are all electric driven trucks.
Trucks and terminal tractors charge at ABB charging stations supported by Hagao Battery Bank made of reusable car batteries. Masterly's certified operators ensure a safe and efficient fjord crossing with the
they plan
unmanned
to
vessel.
operate fully autonomous between the fjords. There is no people
They're
on
working
board.
from a remote operation center equipped with Kongsberg Maritime's world-leading technology. In port, the vessel moors and charges automatically. Drivers can efficiently transport trailers between pickup and delivery points in a complete emission-free transport chain. To achieve its goals of climate-neutral transport and reduce mileage on congested roads by 2026, ASCO has found a way to enable emission-free supply of food to your local store. Welcome to a greener shopping experience.
Yeah, again another project, battery driven. This is green tech. Yeah. So
this deck with the
yeah,
with
so
everyone.
this is just wanted to share with you few projects which we are doing. So overall there is a good potential for these kind of projects and these kind of vessels, and we are getting a lot of inquiries to build it in.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Looks pretty the futuristic, and hopefully it'll be large scale and more countries can use it. So minimum, I understand even y'all are exploring green hydrogen, right? Could you share a little bit about that and how are you all doing it? What is the plan and whatever you could share with us?
Yes, green hydrogen is said to be the future fuel, considering the low environmental impacts. So, BPCL with CL as a facilitator has set up a green hydrogen manufacturing plant as well as a dispensing station catering to mobility sector. It is situated in the airport premises. BPCL has got the production know, and this is awaiting PESO clearance. The factory has been set up, it is awaiting PESO clearance, and we expect that this facility will get inaugurated by end of this month. So this is a 1 megawatt plant, and out of which 500 kilowatt is an indigenous technology, electrolyzer technology developed by Baba Atomic Research Center, and balance 500 kilowatt has been imported. So we will be comparing the performance of both. It's a demonstration plant. We will be comparing the performance of both, and we will be the future, what all additions and deletions has to be done, that will be doing this.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And I think behind all of this is money again. So, and sustainable finance. Personally, I feel we're not doing enough in terms of sustainable financing. We're raising it through different means, and there's a lot more scope in India to do that. And how do you see, as in providing access to all of this? Like, all of this time, effort requires a lot of money that is required. So what do you think is the new emerging areas in sustainable finance? Because clearly there's a lot going on in this country. So what would you see as the future?
Yeah, I think sustainable finance is, it's like a very hot topic nowadays, that everybody wants to have sustainable projects and also get access to capital which at a cheaper cost. So if you look at Federal Bank's case, we got an equity investment from World Bank Group, which is International Financial Corporation, IFC, close to 1,800 crores as green equity, their first green equity investment in Asia. And that is for providing capital to green projects, and similar to what I said earlier on phasing out of coal. So staying away from polluting industries and funding more green eligible projects. So yes, it gives access to finance for bankers, But as customers, again, there is a lot of projects which are coming up, and there is a huge deficit in terms of how much money is required vis-a-vis how much money is available. The only challenge, there are a couple of challenges also in sustainable finance. The biggest one is there is no taxonomy in India. What I call as green may not be what is called as green by the client. I would say a 20% energy efficiency is classified as green, whereas the client would say I have 15% efficiency and that is green. So who decides what is green? In many countries there is a taxonomy, and India there is no formal taxonomy yet, though there is a draft paper issued by the ministry now. It's going to take time, and it gives a lot of clarity on what a green project is. The next question is, who verifies that it is green? Because renewable is pretty straightforward. If it's a rooftop solar, yes, it is green. Or if it's a green hydrogen, it is green. But when it comes to the complex projects or complex industries, the bankers are not that capable to analyze the projects and decide whether what is stated is achievable. And the larger challenge is with the MSMEs and the smaller business, because most of the green requires a documentation and a third-party certification, and that comes with a cost. And is that MSME unit can they bear that cost, or do they expect the banks to bear the cost? So who bears the cost in the green funding is also a question. And I think the forums like this and the other platforms, the biggest requirement for our country is to develop that documentation and certification, so that there should be some body which says that this is what is green for this particular sector, or if you achieve these thresholds, then it is eligible as green under Indian context, which can be used both by the financiers, the clients, the consultants, so that there is no additional cost. Yes, the larger companies, say maybe the Cochin shipyards, the CLs, or the Tata groups, they can afford, or the larger companies have this international certifications in place. But when it comes to smaller MSMEs or suppliers, we need to develop that. And the last but not the least is, any green project the client expects at a lower cost. Because it is green, they expect at a lower cost.
But it is green financing at the end. It's supposed to be a few bips lower per
Yes,
se.
but bankers are like brokers. We take money from depositors and we lend it. Now RBI has come out with a green deposit scheme, wherein banks are free to offer green deposits, and the end use must be for green eligible projects. Now, being the elite class who understands sustainability and who believes that the sustainability is right thing, if federal bank says that we offer a 5-year deposit at 7.5%, the normal deposit, and we offer a green deposit for 5 years, but instead of 7.5, I offer at 6.5%. How many of us individually will put our hard-earned money in that particular deposit? The depositors expect a higher bips because they are giving it for a green purpose. So if for the bank, if I cannot raise it at a lower cost,
but you have many zeros with equity that you have got an investment, so that can be given at a...
Yes, so it comes with a lot of cost, ifs and buts.
Understood.
So sustainable finance, the biggest challenge is one, lack of taxonomy, then lack of supports and documentation requirements for the MSME units, and of course even the government had issued a sovereign green bond and it didn't pick off much.
Right.
So there is a question of who bears the cost.
Right. I think the same thing is happening in EU, right, around CBAM. So they've come up with this, it has the same, you can say, approach. Who's going to verify whatever information that has come with the imports? Who is going to bear the cost? You know, and how is it going to be applied? You know, what is the benchmark? I think that is a challenge to be there. But also, IFC does have an approach on taxonomy. If somebody would want to build it, there is, you know, we don't have to wait for the government, I believe. As in, if say federal bank or any bank, for example, would like to do it, because green financing has been there for a while, you can build your own taxonomy and say, this is how we are doing it. We want 15% energy efficiency, whatever. And then there are enough validation that can be done in the market as well. Is that a fair thing to say, sir?
Yes, we already have a commitment that we build 15,000 crores of green books
Right.
by this financial year.
Right.
And among the Indian banks, our current percentage is close to 4%. 4% of our advances are green advance as on
Excellent.
date,
Okay.
and that is one of the highest in the country. But the challenge that you
It's still
spoke
there,
is when we borrow the taxonomy from abroad or the global benchmarks, that may not be suitable for Indian context, or especially for the smaller units.
Right.
Most of it can be achieved by the larger firms.
So that's where the mass, the volume is, which is in the
Yes.
smaller units. Okay, got you. So
This happens in shipping also. Actually, somebody can claim I have introduced green technology into that, just putting one solar panel, and then they can claim
correct, and say
that
it's a
is a green vessel.
Correct.
But so we have set up, like as you said, who will certify for this? In shipping, actually shipbuilding, we have got Director General of Shipping, and for example, which I showed, Green Tug Transition Program, we have defined that Indian Register of Shipping, they have to certify that this is a green tug. So he will verify what is the reduction and the operations which is intended to do reduce this much of carbon footprint. So that way, then only he can claim for the subsidy.
So compliance is also needed to drive value as well over here.
And I think Bureau of Energy Efficiency is doing a good job.
Right.
They already have a list of machineries which are energy efficient certified,
Right.
which I think the MSMEs can look at, and those can be classified as green if they approach the banks.
Understood.
So I think it's evolving.
Right. And Hari sir, in your experience, you'll have been piloting solar rooftop for a while now, right? And driving energy efficiency pilots as well. Do you have any examples of that where there's been like a massive, as in one was, Miniman's example that you shared around, how solar really helped deliver, cost reduction. In your experiences in over 35 years, you mentioned, are there some massive cuts that we've seen and, in terms of cost? Any projects that come to mind that you would like to share with us today?
No, for the last, I think 28 years or so, since the inception of EMC, we are acting as the technical secretariat for the Kerala government Energy Conservation Awards.
Okay.
So every year we get applications from different industries, enterprises, and definitely we have seen industries implementing projects and they gaining the benefits of not less than 5 to 20% of energy cost reduction. But still, I will also respond to the financing option. See, I used to tell in some forums like this that India's housing sector has boomed because of the low cost capital. When the PLR was hovering around 12 to 14%, housing sector we gave about 7 to 8%. Then the housing sector has boomed. അപ്പോൾ ഇന്നോവേറ്റീവ് ഫൈനാൻസിങ് സസ്റ്റൈനബിൾ ഫിനാൻസിങ് എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിലും ഒരു ലോ കോസ്റ്റ് ക്യാപിറ്റൽ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഡെഫിനറ്റ്ലി ഇൻഡസ്ട്രീസ് ആൻഡ് എൻ്റർപ്രൈസസ് വിൽ ഗോ ഫോർ ദാറ്റ്. ഒരു മാഡം ഇടയ്ക്ക് പറഞ്ഞ CBAM എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ഒരു സാധനത്തിൽ ഒരു ചെറിയൊരു ക്ലാരിറ്റി എനിക്ക് വരുത്താൻ. ഐ ഓൾസോ മെൻഷൻ ദറ്റ് എക്സ്പോർട്ട് ഓറിയൻറ്റഡ് യൂണിറ്റ്സ് ഗോ ഫോർ എനർജി എഫിഷ്യൻസി ആൻഡ് റിന്യൂവബിൾ. എൻ്റെ അഭിപ്രായത്തിൽ അങ്ങനെ ഒരു യൂറോപ്യൻ യൂണിയൻ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വെസ്റ്റ് അവരാണ് ഇത് പ്രൊമോട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നു എന്നുള്ള എനിക്ക് അഭിപ്രായമില്ല. Karna, it is also business for them, because when they say that they are promoting CBAM or they are coming with regulations, absolutely they will try to sell their equipment to our country. So recent കഴിഞ്ഞ എനർജി കൺസർവേഷൻ അവാർഡിൽ ഞങ്ങൾ ഒരു സ്റ്റീൽ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രീസിന് കോഴിക്കോട് we have given the award. They have gone for electrification of their kitchen, for thereby saving about 50 tons of LPG per year. അതിൻ്റെ കൂടെ ഒരു ആഡഡ് ബെനിഫിറ്റ് ആയിട്ട് head for an air fryer, electric air fryer. Oil saving 5 tons. And definitely some statin tablets.
And healthy also.
Some statin tablet also saving their employees. So energy efficiency definitely have a great role to play in improving your bottom line and reducing your energy cost. Definitely we can see that in enterprises.
And this is an ongoing activity, right? As in companies, as they look at technologies out there, they have to keep upgrading their equipment and continuously keep looking out to see how they can bring in more energy efficiency measures as well.
Regulations plus companies also has to be cautious enough to go for technologies.
Right.
To go select the right technology for the
To
right
allow it to
requirement.
do that, yeah. So I have 5 minutes. I think everybody is also hungry, so I don't want to keep you all from lunch. I think, Jatish, if you were to look, say, 10 years ahead, what do you think the vision is going to be, at least when it comes to low carbon fuel? Just 10 years. And if we can keep it short, so just to wrap it up, yeah.
Hello. Yeah. From 10 years, actually, when you look at it, there are two aspects. If you are looking at shipping or shipbuilding, the shipbuilding is going, the requirements in shipbuilding is quite high, and also there is an requirements in sustainability is also quite high. As far as India is concerned, these two are very important now. India is growing. We are going to become the third biggest economy, and as after the Russia-Ukraine war and the sanctions coming in, we don't have Indian built ships as many to carry our fuel, the required fuel. And the last week, Prime Minister has announced a 70,000 crore worth fund for boosting shipbuilding. So it's going to be quite big for India, and the business opportunities are quite big. So we need to take in 10 years or maybe coming 20 years, this opportunity we have to tap in. If you have to tap in, I see we need to have collaboration, but not only with collaboration. We have our own people here. We have got enough manpower, human resources and land here. So most important thing we need is in the industry and academia collaboration. This is very important, and seminars like this should happen in the level of university. We need to have collaborations with universities. The next generations, the Gen Z's or the students who are right now in the colleges, they are going to drive the next 10 years or 20 years. So they are going to come out. If they are interested, they are passionate enough to drive this. We have to make them prepared for that.
I think they
so
are.
that is what I think we need to do. We need to have this kind of seminars and awareness in the universities, make them prepared. Of course, Cochin Shipyard is collaborating with many foreign firms, like Koreans are coming in, Norwegians are coming in. These are going to change even Kochi also. So there are a lot of opportunities going to come in Kochi also.
On that point, I want to also ask you, sir, and Kochi and Kerala, how do we make Kerala, there's a new ESG policy that has come up, and to just wrap it up, as in, what do you think is needed to put Kerala really on the map, if we were to, for ESG or energy? What do you think those would be? 3 things that come to mind.
എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു ഇത്തരം ചർച്ചകളിൽ കൂടി ഒരു പോളിസി പാരാലിസിസ് എന്ന് ഞാൻ പറയുന്നില്ല, പക്ഷേ പോളിസി ഇംപ്ലിമെൻറ്റേഷനിലേക്ക് വരുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് നമുക്ക് എന്ത് വേണം എന്നുള്ളതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് ഒരു കൂട്ടായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ചിന്തയോ ഒപ്പീനിയനോ ഇല്ല എന്നാണ് എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നത്. കാരണം നമുക്കെല്ലാം വേണം. ഇപ്പോൾ രാവിലെ എൻ്റെ ബാച്ച്മേറ്റ് ശശി പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ AI വേണം, പിന്നെ ഇത് എയർപോർട്ട്സ് വേണം, പോർട്ട്സ് വേണം, എല്ലാം വേണം. നമുക്ക് ഇവിടെ ഇതിനകത്ത് കേരളം പോലുള്ള കൊച്ചു സംസ്ഥാനത്തിനകത്ത് we do not want hydro plants, we do not want nuclear plants, but we can have nuclear plants in Mangalore or in Tamil Nadu and get that electricity inside. അപ്പോൾ ഇത് എന്താണ് നമുക്ക് വേണ്ടത് എന്നുള്ളതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ ഇരിക്കുന്ന സിറ്റുവേഷൻ 70% or 75% of our electricity we are buying from outside, and 100% of fossil fuel we are buying from outside. അപ്പോൾ എനർജി സെക്യൂരിറ്റി is a big question. അപ്പോൾ ഒന്നുകിൽ വി ഷുഡ് ബി നമ്മൾ കുറച്ചും കൂടെ ബോധവാന്മാരാകണം ടു മേക്ക് മൈസർ എനർജി കൺസംഷൻ കുറയ്ക്കണം, കൺസംഷൻ പാറ്റേണിൽ ചേഞ്ച് വരുത്തണം. അല്ലാന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇതുപോലെ ആൻഡ് വി വോണ്ട് എവറിത്തിങ് അറ്റ് ദ ലീസ്റ്റ് പ്രൈസ് ഓൾസോ, ആൻഡ് പവർ ഈസ് ദ ലീസ്റ്റ് പ്രൈസിൽ വേണമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. ബാക്കി എല്ലാം കൂടുന്നു, പക്ഷേ പവർ പ്രൈസ് ഒരു 5 പൈസ കൂട്ടിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഇപ്പോൾ സോളാറിലൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ അനുഭവം. അപ്പോൾ ആ പോലെ ഒരു ഇത്തരം ചർച്ചകളിൽ കൂടി കാര്യങ്ങൾ തുറന്നു പറഞ്ഞ് ഒരു കൺസെൻസസിലേക്ക് സമൂഹത്തിലേക്ക് എത്തിക്കാനായിട്ട് സാധിക്കുകയാണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇംപ്ലിമെൻറ്റേഷൻ ഈസ് ബിറ്റ് മോർ ഈസി. Otherwise, government also, organization like us also will take the easiest path, less of agitation എന്നുള്ള രീതിയിൽ പതുക്കെ പോകും.
Understood. And Mini ma'am, just going in order over here, just to wrap up, so you've looked at, you moved from solar, you've gone to hydrogen, and, What do you see as, some future, as in the next 10 years, asking you the same question? What do you think is going to shift or that's going to change when it comes to CIL? Or even the aviation industry?
As far as energy sector in the aviation industry, I think that SAF will be coming. Sustainable aviation fuel. That will be the future, I think.
Okay. All right.
It is very expensive as of now.
It is.
But there are certain foreign airlines that they demark that this much should be SAF. There are foreign airlines.
They are looking at slowly transitioning.
Slowly transitioning
absolutely,
to SAF.
Absolutely. Okay. And also it also takes into account, I see a lot of, like, coming from Bangalore, I'm very proud of, like, the Bangalore airport, for example. It's 100%, solar, also, renewable energy. It's resilient as well. I think that's, and also the building is recyclable, and it is, all of that. So that is also something I see, that the infrastructure also that is being built has low embodied emissions also. Would you say that is something that we look at as we expand airports as well across?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And over to you in terms of, money is like a big question, especially in boardrooms, right? As in, how do we raise it? How do we, make more for whatever it is that that we are drawing? So what do you think would be some hot topics in the boardroom in the next 10 years? When it comes to ESG and funding in India?
I think the ESG or sustainability is like, if I would take a comparison, maybe 15-20 years before what bureau score was. Not many people knew it, but yes, the bankers knew that it is required, but as customers, people were not very aware. But today, all of us know the importance of credit rating or bureau score. I think ESG or climate risk would be the same after 10 years. Today, when you go to a bank and submit a credit proposal, the things that the banks ask is, say, your financials, your details of projects, technical viability, and collateral. Maybe after 10 years, the first thing that the bank would ask is, what is your climate risk plan? Because as banks, we need to safeguard the depositors' money, and unless the borrowers are climate resilient, banks will not be resilient, and depositors' money is at stake. So I think climate risk is going to be the hot topic in the next 10 years, and Keralites, we know that it's real. We have seen it in 2018. We thought it's once in 150 years. Then we saw it in 2019. Then we saw it in 2024. So we are seeing it year after year, and it's right in front of us, and I think that's going to be the hot topic.
And I think CIL has done excellent in climate risk, right? Ma'am, do you want to share a bit around that? Because you've gone beyond just your own fence, into communities as well, yeah.
Yes, we, along with the district administration and the local administration, we have charted out a flood mitigation infrastructure development program whereby the canals in 20-kilometer radius that was deepened and widened, and 4 bridges were built across those canals at a cost of 110 crore rupees. That was finished in 2021, and as phase 2 of that, last week, Chief Minister inaugurated the foundation stone laying ceremony for 3 more bridges across the canals, which is in the 20 kilometers radius of
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So just to wrap it up, thank you so much for your honest responses, and also for the presentation, Jatish and ma'am, for all your insights, and Padmanabhan for sharing the bank perspective in this conversation. Just want to say that to wrap up, risk obviously is increasing. I think WEF has, the World Economic Forum has actually put at least 5 environmental related risks on the top of the chart in the next 10 years. So I think that is now, being played out in boardrooms and operations and everywhere. Collaboration is very important, because it cannot be one company that does everything. It requires different actors, different people to come. We definitely should not be in a policy paralysis as well. Implementation is easy, but different actors need to come together, and there has to be this transition. So from solar to green hydrogen to constantly moving towards better and better, say, energy efficiency and steps as it goes forward, and what we call popularly, the strategy and the implementation roadmap. If you have that vision, then it is how do you get there in the long run. So thank you so much for your patience, and I hope there's food being served. And thank you so much for such a wonderful panel, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Srimati Nisha Meneses, for seamlessly conducting an engaging panel discussion. And to the panel members, you were a lighthouse on your own, showing us the way towards sustainability and the roadblocks and the problems that we might come across on that journey. Thank you so much. And may I now call Sri Binuke Jose to give a token of appreciation, love, and joy to this panel.
So thank you.
Thank you so much. We had a wonderful time listening to you. How did, oh yeah.